Jeffrey Epstein is involved in the early development of Bitcoin via funding. Justin Sun's ex-girlfriend, etc. is exposing him. Tom Lee is still buying Ethereum. These are just some updates that we will be discussing here on this live stream. You guys are watching the Coin Zone. Thanks for tapping back in. It's Monday, February 2nd. I'm your host, Crypto with Paul. Let's get right into today's stories, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So first off, why don't we start with something a little interesting? People are talking about Satoshi Nakamoto being Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. Why don't we start with that rabbit hole? Okay, we'll go from there. If you guys are just tapping in now, make sure to hit that sub button. If you haven't subbed to the channel already, make sure to hit that like button if you like what you're seeing here at the moment. All right, let's get right into this. So just looking at this, number one, right off the bat, the names linked to crypto and early Bitcoin in the Epstein files. These names appear in emails, invites, or business discussions. We have new Fed chair Kevin Warsh. Okay. That's interesting. Wasn't expecting that. Appears in 2010 email, listed as a potential guest for a Christmas event, now nominated as the Fed chair. Absolutely wild. Howard Lutnick, number two, appears in emails between 2005 and 2012. In 2005, he said he wanted nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. When in 2012, his tone changed, became friendly. He's the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. Cantor is a banking partner of Tether. And now Howard Lutnick is a part of the Trump administration. Elon Musk has been mentioned a couple times. Unfortunately, for those of you who hate the guy, he was not there, declined the invitations to the island, and has been looking for individuals to seriously probe into this situation for a while. Brian Armstrong appears in a 2016 investor email. Okay. Austin Hill, 2014. Jeb McCaleb, mentioned indirectly in 2014 emails, and then Satoshi Nakamoto mentioned in a 2016 email. Now, why don't we skip around real quick? Jeb McCaleb, all right? So Ripple was mentioned in the Epstein files, guys. Ripple XRP. Good afternoon from Toronto. Peter, what's going on? Thanks for joining the stream, brother. Love the profile pic. Great movie. All right, let's start with this. So Ripple XRP, this is from Crypto Daily News. Shout out to Crypto Daily News, friend of the channel. Ripple and Stellar were specifically mentioned in Epstein's emails. So it looks like, I guess the XRP community is very happy about this information. Like, oh, we've been suppressed for so long. Even the entities of Jeffrey Epstein don't want to see us winning. It's honestly a little crazy. This is insane. So, hi guys, this is from Austin Hill to Jeffrey Epstein. We obviously have seen, and then he puts the link for Stellar. I'm not sure what the relationship with Jed and the team are. I know obviously some of the players, but this is a problem for us. Would one of you please give me a call? I can explain some of the issues, but basically I've been asked about other co-founders to reduce or take your allocation away. Ripple and Jed's new Stellar are bad for the ecosystem we are building, and it does our company damage. Wow. Honestly, kind of crazy. So what is the ecosystem that they were building, guys? What does that even mean? All right, let's go through this. This is the most insane stuff. Out of the Epstein files, I did not expect this to take a crypto route. I did not expect the crypto world to be discussing the Epstein files as they are. This is actually insane. Chief Diorki, what's going on? Appreciate you tapping back in. Thank you. Been following for a bit. Appreciate your insights. Awesome. Love to hear it. Thanks for giving us a follow, man. So let's just go back to this real quick. So let's break this all down for you guys. If you don't know, over the past weekend, a lot of files pertaining to the Jeffrey Epstein situation were released. There were videos, pictures, documents, emails, etc. And Satoshi, all these individuals were named specifically. It looks like there were 4 or 5, they said, major developers of Bitcoin, and then like 100 other ones. But supposedly Mr. Jeffrey Epstein had a hand in it. So if you're holding Bitcoin, don't panic. All right, the opening tweet I had on the screen, just to go back to that real quick, it doesn't even matter. And I've seen Rajat Soni's post about this as well. If you're not buying Bitcoin because you think it's some sort of governmental psyop, it can't be. It provably can't be, because they can't go back and change the code. There's no backdoor to the code. This is something that gave me trust in Bitcoin a long time ago when I first got into it and invested in it. I saw an interview with Da Vinci Jeremy where, they asked him, do you think it's CIA operating? He said, maybe, something like that. And we said, doesn't that scare you? He said, no, because there's no backdoor. So whoever this person or group of people were, aka Satoshi Nakamoto, well, they seemingly did it for good intentions. They're not trying to rug anybody. They're not trying to create some sort of system like most governmental or social media built apps. Even WhatsApp, they say it's encrypted, is really not, right? So there's backdoors to these things. With Bitcoin, there's no backdoor. You can't have your funds stolen, or just, taken from you. You can't have anything monitored. Well, obviously the blockchain is a financial record, but it's crazy, guys. So let's get back to it. Okay. The 2026 DOJ document release shows Epstein wasn't a creator of Bitcoin, but he was close to early funding investors and crypto in its first years. Yeah. Blockstream investment 2014. This has sparked Adam Back to release statements about this. Blockstream and Adam Back. Epstein invested $500,000 in a Blockstream seed round. The round was $18 million and heavily oversubscribed. His money went through JOI, ITO's MIT Media Lab fund, not directly. Emails show Blockstream founders talking to Epstein about funding, competitors, and strategy. Austin Hill complained to Epstein that Ripple and Stellar were bad for the ecosystem and that investors shouldn't back both sides. Later, the fund sold the shares due to conflicts. Peter Thiel emails, because there's Peter Thiel involved in this as well. In 2014, Epstein exchanged emails with Peter Thiel. They discussed what Bitcoin actually is. Epstein said there was no argument if Bitcoin was money, property, or store of value. He compared it to something that doesn't fit into old categories. This was years before regulation was a mainstream topic. I mean, this is crazy, guys. Like, I did really not expect this at all. So, absolutely crazy. Quote unquote, Epstein says in the emails, I've spoken with some of the founders of Bitcoin. The project never happened. I guess they're talking about Sharia coin. Michael Saylor appears in a 2010 donor list. Wow. Yeah, I mean, people are thinking he's Satoshi. I don't think he's Satoshi, guys. I think that this guy was so powerful, so influential. He had his hand on so many different things that if he had any sort of influence, it's kind of like what George Soros is doing right now. What does he fund? Basically everything that you're seeing. Any protests in the street right now, George Soros, throw money at it. Sounds like what Epstein's doing. He had his foot, his ear to the street, his feet to the ground, taking a look at what's going on in the digital landscape and the currency landscapes. And he was trying to influence some things with capital. That's kind of normal to me. I don't think he was creating Bitcoin or he was the reason for Bitcoin. What's up, Chief the Yorkie? Got a question for you. Let me know. Shoot. Absolutely insane to see, though. We have a lot of crazy news coming out, okay? Zcash is mentioned 100 times in the Epstein files. The Zcash founder also in the files. Monero is mentioned 0 times. Okay, that's just from math. I'm just going to pull that up and leave that there for you guys to wrestle with. Have fun with it. Tons of things to look at. I even want to play this clip. This was an unreleased video that came out in these files. He said a lot of interesting things. He blamed Bill Clinton for the economy crashing in 2008. I mean, there's a lot of things he says in this interview that are very interesting. When did you first hear about Bitcoin? I was a little later, Chief. It was in 2020 for me. Yeah, right around 2020, 2021-ish is when I first started to hear about Bitcoin. And yeah, I don't even remember hearing about it sooner. You know, I was in college from 2014 to 2018. I've been saying for over a year now that it could have required 3 to 5 people to create Bitcoin. Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, at the end of the day, it sounds like, you know, Nick Szabo, Adam Back, those two specifically, and Hal Finney receiving the first ever Bitcoin transaction. Those guys seem like they had some of the biggest hands in it and all. I know there's a theory about Jack Dorsey as well. I don't know how much I believe on that one, but you know, you had the cypherpunks community, you had things that came out of that, ideals, you had, you know, Hashgraph and systems that Nick Szabo and Adam Back created before Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the product, the end result of a ton of ideas and papers written and code written that already existed for the most part, right? So these ideals were all collectively put together by seemingly a couple people under the pseudonym Satoshi. Now, it's not to say that Jeffrey Epstein is Satoshi, but let's just listen to this clip because this is interesting. There's a couple clips of him just kind of spitting game and telling you, I don't think this is the one. But yeah, he pretty much just says, you know, the banks don't want you to win. All these things. It's kind of crazy. Let's listen to this by Jeffrey Epstein. Guys, let me know you hear this, by the way.
Wall Street, and in many professions, including Wall Street makes it sound complicated. They don't want the little guy to understand what they do because they make so much money and they don't do very much. So they couch it in words like derivative and stock options and commodity futures and different types of contracts. It's all everyone is capable of understanding it. It is not complicated. But Wall Street, because they make so much money from doing fairly simple things, needs to make it more complicated than it really is. Wall Street, and in many professions, including Wall Street makes it sound complicated. They don't want the little guy to understand what they do because they make so.
So there's more as well. We're going to go over this one as well. Let's listen to this clip.
And the people on the street, and when I say people on the street, a fundamental part of money, which is called fractionalized banking. And fractionalized banking is something that finance people understand. And the people on the street, and when I say people on the street, that's where I was when I started on Wall Street, would find it impossible to believe. Impossible. Why? Bannon Bank, I give you $1, just one single dollar. In our system of banking, I would say, okay, Steve, I gave you $1. How much could you lend out to your friends? And your natural reaction would be probably something less than $1 because I want to keep something in my pocket. The way our system works is if you as a bank are holding my dollar, you can lend out an additional $8 or $9. No, it's impossible. I only have $1, Jeffrey. We have something called fractionalized reserves, which is if you have 1, you can lend out 9. That's the way our system works. And so not only do world leaders not understand banking, but the man on the street, my father who worked in the park department, it would be beyond his imagination that people could lend out more money than they actually had in their pocket. If the public understood that the bank really doesn't have their money at any one time, one of the things during the Depression, there were runs on the bank. The reason the banks don't keep much money in the actual bank is they assume that not everyone's going to want their money on the same day. So it's not really the fear.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to hear Jeffrey Epstein saying this. You know, we've talked about fractional reserve banking on this channel before a lot. We've talked about the methods that banks use. You know, we've talked about how run of the banks happen. You're kind of also seeing this with silver at the moment, I believe. But In the past, you've seen it before. We had bank failures a couple years back. We just had one, right? Over the weekend. The banks run a fraudulent system, and it's going to come collapsing down one day. You have Ray Dalio warning this more than ever now. You have even Warren Buffett telling people to get out of the dollar. You have China calling for the yuan to be the national reserve or the global reserve currency. You know, we have a system right now where the dollar is losing its value more rapidly than it ever did. And you have individuals looking at alternatives. That's why crypto is such a big thing. It blows my mind still that the sentiment is this bad, the prices are this bad, and people are still seemingly tuned out as much as they are. It's kind of wild to see. So we have Ripple, XRP, Zcash, Bitcoin, Stellar, all mentioned in the Epstein files. We're going to have some new files to look at pretty soon, okay? And this is according to Justin Sun's girlfriend or ex-girlfriend. I mean, she is going no F's given. I don't know what this man did to her, but she was like, bruh, you know I have dirt on you, my friend. And I guess he didn't even know, because look at this. Okay, I was Justin Sun's girlfriend, not me, guys. I'm looking at the computer screen and telling you what this says. During the early stages of his entrepreneurship with TRX, Tron, I'm in possession of evidence showing that he used the identities and mobile phones of multiple employees to register numerous Binance accounts, through which he conducted coordinated buying and selling on the Binance exchange to artificially inflate the price of TRX, followed by large-scale selling to dump on retail investors, thereby obtaining enormous illegal profits. Wow. I am willing to fully cooperate with the SEC investigation and to submit all relevant WeChat records. She said, bro, I have receipts as well as evidence provided to me by his employees. And they got the snitches too? Wow. Okay. Proving his market manipulation activities. Wow. I requested the U.S. judicial authorities contact me, and I respectfully ask that this information be forwarded as widely as possible. Bro. She's going crazy on this guy. A significant portion of KOLs in the Chinese crypto space are, in fact, anonymous signal calling accounts. They work closely with project teams to release so-called calls when a price pump is nearing its end. Once these calls are issued, large numbers of retail investors buy in, after which the project teams begin dumping and harvesting profits. Bro. Many projects founded by Chinese founders operate in exactly this way. Bro, this is insane. I mean, we have a lot of tea that's coming out. We have the Epstein files, and we have now our own specific crypto files. You know, stuff about CZ supposedly is going to come out. Binance being investigated. Justin Sun. I mean, this is crazy, guys. You have, you know, I saw someone's tweet that basically talked about like the crypto space right now. And it's kind of sad because you look at what's going on, right? Let's just go to CoinMarketCap or something. I'm done with Coinbase, guys. I swear to God. CoinMarketCap 20 index ETF. Very interesting. I've always been kind of interested in that. But you look at this, guys. Look at the top 10. Look at the projects in the top 10. If we're talking about corruption here, right? We have Tron, BNB. Yeah, I would throw Solana in there too. Look at all of the scams and corruption that have come from these chains. Supposedly BNB and Tron, right? I'm not going to sit here and, you know, as Crypto with Paul say that's my take. With Solana, I mean, it's true. You have people getting sandwich attacked, losing funds, getting hacked, going down all the time. A lot of, you know, pump.fun was created, the most extraction value creating method in all time of all of history of crypto is on Solana. Yeah, man, she might be the one who brings the sunset. I mean, yeah. But realistically, guys, you look at CoinMarketCap and you're saying 3 massive projects in the top 10 are all very, very scammy and have gotten there via illegal activities. Do you really think that's good? I mean, Tether too. You know, I just made clips about Tether the other day. Tether has still not been clear about their reserves. It's pretty important. This is exactly what we're talking about with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, do you have your reserves or no? It's like it's the same thing. You're creating the same cycle. Kind of wild. People are gonna claim Bitcoin's a scam. People are ETHgate. Oh, ETH is a scam. I dare you to try to find something bad to say about ADA. But this is the current landscape, guys. It's actually wild to see. Wild to see. And if we actually have these many projects that are just scammy, that come and go, I mean, if you look at history, all these different projects that come and go, that scammed, that were big, that went to 0 in 2 seconds. Most people remember Terra Luna. I mean, it's crazy. Hoskinson will end up coming out unscathed, and Becker will run out of jokes. Yeah, shout out to Alex Becker. I mean, again, recently, you know, talked about his conviction in for ADA holders. I mean, it is true though. You look at a guy like Charles, like it's interesting. The people who are the biggest scam artists. This is when I always chuckle when people talk about Charles being a scam artist. Like, first of all, he already won in court, and it provably was not. Everything is public record. Second of all, like, why would a guy who scammed so many people for 9 years now, before that, you know, he helped create Ethereum and was around the early Bitcoin days. This guy's been involved in the progression and coding and programming and development and creation of crypto for over 10 years now. Why would he stick around and consistently engage with the community and consistently drop videos, spend all of his time working, talking about losing $2 billion just because he's not some VC who only cares about profits? He cares about building. What, you think that guy's the scammer? I mean, if ADA turns out to be a big scam project, great. I mean, I don't see how that's possible. I really don't see it. It is what it is. But you know, if we're going to talk about scams in this space, Cardano is the one I would least suspect. So much so that, like, Charles talks so much ish about anybody, whether it's Trump, Brad Garlinghouse, whatever, to the detriment of ADA's price. It's the internet. Everything has a touch of sketchiness. Yeah, absolutely. But the only bad thing, and I've said this before about ADA, the only bad thing you can say about it is its price action hasn't been great in the last like 5 or 6 years or so. That's it. Nothing about the fundamentals. Nothing about the community, the founder, or anything like that. It's only, it's, you know, the price action isn't doing too good. There hasn't really. Okay, well, I can live with that. Because eventually the fundamentals catch up. Eventually they've been building and doing so many incredible things. It's a hard cap supply. It's continuing to be used more. You have USDC coming to it. You have partnerships with Bitcoin DeFi, Ripple DeFi. There's this, you know, Midnight. There's so many things to me, guys. People don't even recognize it's one of the few non-inflationary coins. Yeah, that's a good thing to point out, Peter. If we're looking at this top 10 right now, only Bitcoin and ADA, right, are the only, and XRP, I believe, are the only hard cap in this top 10. I mean, very interesting to see Bitcoin and Cardano, Bitcoin Cash going back and forth to get the top 10 there. But yeah, lots of narratives to look at here, guys, and just a couple more updates before we go here. This is big too. The ISM comes in at 52.6. This beat what it was supposed to be coming in at. I think what, yeah, Ashker to talk about this as well, came in at 52, expected at 48.5. Okay, so this is where we're sitting at. Look at this line here, guys. if we want to get into altcoin season territory historically, according to Ash Crypto, the ISM has to break 55. I've seen other individuals make videos like this, Dan Gambardello, a couple other TA guys, but this seems historically to be pretty on point. We haven't really crossed that line yet. We thought we were going to get an altcoin season 2025. Well, if you look, we didn't ever even cross that line. Anything is possible. I don't know what the future holds, guys. The thing that I'm not going to do is just sit here and blindly tell you like we're going to get altcoin season. It's guaranteed. Just be patient. 2026 is the year. I'm not going to do that. I don't know what the future can look like. Nobody does, guys. We can have a horrible situation break out in some sort of global war, tariff announcements, more market manipulation and fraud can take place. We now have on accounts the CEO of Wintermute, I think it was. Who was it? We got to pull this up. I got to find this actually. The CEO of it might have been Wintermute, flat out just accused Binance for being solely responsible for the October 10th situation. I don't know if I can find this. Maybe I can. But okay, this isn't some degen on X, your random guy. This was the CEO of Wintermute, I believe it was. Or if it wasn't, no, it was OKX. He was the CEO of OKX. Now, here we go. Glad I remember this, guys. So, OKX Exchange CEO blames Binance leverage loop for a catastrophic 10 out of 10 or 10-10 market collapse. Okay, this is crazy. Starks U, maybe I said that correctly, founder of OKX, argues that the 10 out of 10 crash was a man-made crisis fueled by Binance's aggressive push for market dominance. I mean, look, making yourself public like that, throwing accusation around like that, you're being bold for doing that, guys. That's not a statement you say in jest for fun. I think, blah, blah, blah. People are connecting the dots and saying, what the hell is going on here? This is what it looks like. Yeah. Let's see. I don't trust Ripple. If they IPO, maybe that would be a big opportunity. And Anatoly from Solana, CZ unfollowed him. Yeah, some people have their qualms with Anatoly. I've spoken okay about him in the past. Anytime I've seen him speak, I never got bad vibes from him. I'm just never been a big fan. But it makes you look at everything differently. When I first got into crypto, you have to figure out the different types of entities that are behind projects. You have some purity in this space, and then you have a lot of what they say scamware, just complete vaporware, right? They say vaporware. Just projects that were built for the sole intention of value extraction. They're not here to build something long lasting and memorable, etc. They just want to make money. And this is the opportunity to do so. A brand new space that's confusing, up and down, so much happening. You take advantage of people's confusion and general curiosity as well, because people are coming into this space curious, excited, they want to make money, etc. But they get involved in wrong projects. Like when I first got into this space, a lot of these older communities of older cryptocurrencies would call these newer projects scamware. And I was like, okay, they kind of look like they're jealous, they're hating. Litecoin talking about, Solana being a scam, right? Well, Litecoin's older, hasn't had the best price appreciation according, in compared to Solana after a year, whatever, when it had an insane run up. Can look like hating. That's how I interpret at the time. But at the end of the day, some of these chains, I mean, they're going to have value. Solana has value, right? I'm not downplaying it. I'm not saying it's a complete vaporware project. You have Wall Street institutions building on it. Okay, you have tokenized stocks on Solana. It's kind of wild. Got a lot going on. I don't think it's the best tech. So when founders call it out of these older projects, these communities that, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Monero, whatever, I get it now. I totally get it now. It's crazy. What's up, King? Welcome back, brother. Thanks for tapping in on a Monday. Yeah, we got a lot going on here. This is like the true week this Monday. Look at my hands. I look like Trump. What a week it's been. And it's only Monday. We've got everything breaking. We love the tea. So much tea, just like in China. They drink tea. Yeah, guys. So much tea. Jeffrey Epstein, all these cryptos named in the files. Justin Sun's girlfriend. I don't know what bro did to her. But he did something bad. She's going scorched earth, saying, Justin, your son, your time in the sun is done. You're going to be Justin freaking Moon now, because you're going to be a dark person all the time. I don't know. You're going to be dark. It's going to be sad. Justin Moon. Yeah, that's what's going on. Doormat, what's good, bro? How we doing? PMI, bro. Duck emoji? What's going on here? I'm not even sure what this means. But you guys are the best for tapping and interacting. I mean, this has been a crazy Monday already. I don't know what's going to happen if the price of Bitcoin is going to continue dumping. But for the people who are like I have people, my family, friends, whatever, like, oh, this is horrible. Like, look at Bitcoin. This is the thing that, like, for being in it and for paying attention for this long, I don't even care about the price of Bitcoin. I really don't even care about the price of Bitcoin, because I know in 5 years it'll just be higher. And for people saying, oh, is that 120 now? It's at 70 something. That's crazy. To me, it's like, okay, who cares? It's not even that crazy of a swing to me. And even though it's like a 40K difference or so, right? 120 something down to 70 something. I watched Bitcoin, guys, go from 69,000 down to 16 a couple years back. And then it bounced back up to 120. So do you think it, in the long run, I really don't think it matters. These are just buying opportunities for me. If you're long crypto, if you're long Bitcoin specifically, or if you have convictions in alts or any other project, these are just buying opportunities. Justin Blackhole when he goes to jail. Oof. Yeah, that's pretty nasty. Doormat, white swan, man, last week. Well, doesn't seem like we're getting any white swans. Everything looks pretty bad still. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I do remember the reference, though. I thought that was a duck for some reason. Do you think these downward moves we have had will be enough momentum to explode upwards into a price range? Honestly, yeah. If you look at some of these charts, King, for most of these top projects, let me just do this for a second. Even when I was doing an episode last week with, let's just take ADA for a second. When I was doing an episode last week, the TA guy, and like, I feel like every nice chart right now, every nice positive altcoin chart right now, like, is resembling some sort of bottoming out, where normally historically you see a violent upswing afterwards. I don't know how much longer it's going to bleed out. It could bleed out and be choppy for the rest of, I don't know, the rest of the year, and then finally go. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm just telling you what things are starting to look like to me is that at any moment, this thing could just start flipping to the upside, and then you're just going to see massive green candles. That's genuinely what I feel like is taking place for most of these projects. Bitcoin Cash has been operating slightly differently than the rest of the market, right? These older quote-unquote dino coins, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Monero, Zcash, have all been doing great, separate than the rest of the market. You look at Solana, again, this similar the past year, this downward thing where normally we kick out. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of similarities in some of these top blue chip projects. I think we're going to have a breakout at some point. I don't know when, but again, the variable is the uncertainty in the world right now. You have silver with a 1-day drop more than Bitcoin's entire market cap. And people say Bitcoin laughs at it being a store of value. Silver just dropped an insane amount in a second. Like there's clear manipulation happening here, guys. But this is actually insane. And what did you say? What do we, I don't know if we looked at the specific clip, but Jeffrey Epstein in the files before, what do you say? These guys control everything. I mean, it's wild he's being that candid. Like, you are one of the guys, my guy. It's a lot of guys. A lot of guys. Frankly. Yeah, that's it. Well, Doormat King, Peter, Chief the Yorkie. Appreciate you guys tapping in. Yeah, we'll be back on Wednesday for another live stream. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is a new schedule here. I think we should have an interview coming out possibly tomorrow with a trader who has some very interesting takes. So make sure to watch that. It's a fun interview. We got a lot more coming for you, so stay tuned, guys. But that's basically it. I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Make sure to sub to the channel if you haven't already. If you like this video, share it. That's all I ask from you guys. One last time, it is Monday, February 2nd. I'll see you again on the 4th, guys. My name is Crypto with Paul. You're watching the Coin Zone. I'll see you next time.